Hey everybody, well, Facebook says I'm live, so hopefully that's the case. I always try to just chit chat for a couple of seconds just in case the front part gets cut off. But anyway, happy Friday. I have a really important question for you today, and that is, do you want to be free? And probably your initial thought in response to that question is, of course, I'm in a group about getting free, right? But I am going to ask you to dig a little bit deeper because your behavior always reflects whether you actually want something or not. When we want something, we take steps towards that thing that we want. So you can say that you want to be free, but freedom requires action, and that requires pursuit. So if you are in this group and you are coming to the group and you're kind of hanging out and you're participating a little bit, some of you guys aren't even participating. I'm not sure what that means, but I will tell you, you will not get free just by hanging out here. You won't even get free just by speaking up and saying, hey everybody, I'm struggling. You won't get free unless you really want to be free. So there's a couple of things that would show me or would show evidence that you are pursuing freedom. And one of those is interaction. When you want to be free, you show up and you want access to those things that will lead you to freedom. You want to hang around other people who are free. And so participation is one big sign that you want to be freedom. The next thing is you would be using the tools. You're watching the videos. You are listening to the Saturday Zooms. If you can't come to them, or even if you do come to them, you go back and listen again and take notes. That would be evidence that you are pursuing freedom. Certainly you would be coming to the group each day saying, here's my intention for the day, right? And then the other thing is you would be reaching out for help. And so I think it's really important at this point in the game. We're 13 days into the month, so we still have over half the month left to go. If you are not experiencing freedom, it's because you aren't pursuing it. And if you aren't pursuing it, here's the question to ask yourself. Why don't you really want to let go of Ed and pursue freedom? And yes, that's a trick question. Because if you're starting to see Ed for what he is a tormentor. He is someone who points you towards sickness. He's someone who makes you do the things that you don't want to do. If you start to see him as that, then you should want to be free of that. But the truth is, if you're not pursuing freedom, it means you're still attached to Ed. You don't really want to let him go. It's sort of like a toxic, abusive relationship. Like you start to realize this person isn't so good for you, and they always leave you in a worse shape than they find you. But for some reason you're hanging on to them. You still think there's some good in them. You still think they provide you with some benefit. And I guarantee you, if you are hanging on to Ed, and some of you guys are hanging on to Ed, and I know that because your behavior shows what you believe and what you think. If you're not pursuing freedom, it's because you're holding on to Ed. And the question is, why? What is it that you believe that Ed does for you that outweighs getting rid of him? And I really do, you have to think of that like you think of a toxic relationship. One of the reasons why I would say is familiarity. For some of you guys, you're like, but Ed's always been around. I don't know how to act. I don't know how to deal with life without him. So I'd rather hang on to the known that's definitely harming me and definitely killing me than to face life not knowing what's going to come. And that could be a reason that you're hanging on to Ed. Another reason you could be hanging on to Ed is because you believe he actually does something good for you. You don't see him as toxic. You see him as a savior in your life. And tomorrow when we have our call, we're going to talk about why that's not true. But the truth is, if you want to be free, it would look like it. You would see an action attached to that. If you want something, then you do something about it. There's a difference in desire and passing interest. If you have a passing interest in freedom, it is not ever going to change your life. You have to be actively pursuing it. And so I really want you to think about this today. What do you want? What do you want for your life? And if it's freedom that you want, today, right now, hearing this, you need to say, what is that going to look like for me? How am I going to take those first steps to start pursuing freedom? And I think I would suggest one of the first steps would be to admit it. Just stop where you are and say, you know what? I have not been pursuing this thing. I've just been kind of hoping that it happens. I'm hoping that I'll hear something, it'll be compelling, and it sticks. Well, that can happen. You can hear something, it can be very compelling, it can stick with you. But until you take action and you change something that you do every single day, you aren't going to change, or you're going to be up and down and all over the place. So ask yourself that question, do I want to be free? And then what do I need to do right now in order to change that? So far in this group, you've gotten to know who Ed is and what his nature is. We've talked about acceptance and what that means, and whether you are working through the fact that you do have a disordered eating and you can't live your life with other people. And we also talked this week about identifying your danger zones and how important that is. If you haven't done that work, if you haven't opened up your notebook and said, these are my danger zones, and written them down, you're not doing the work that you need to do to get free. Freedom requires pursuit. I want this for you so much, but it's nothing that I can do for you. I can lead you there. I can't do it for you. I can't want it more than you do. And I think maybe that is the case for some of you guys. So think about where you are. Get real with yourself and say, what do I need to do to pursue freedom? Not just hang out, not just a casual interest, but truly pursue freedom. All the steps are here. You can work through them. You can do it, but it requires action on your part. It is not too late. We're only 13 days into the month, and this is a perfect time to either turn it around or ramp up your pursuit of freedom. When you really want something, you spend time and energy going after it. This is going to require some time and energy on your part to go after, chase down freedom. It's available to you today. I can help you get there, but you got to want it more than I want it for you. Hope everybody has a great day. And really important, I'm going to put this in an announcement too. Tomorrow our call will be at a different time. It will be at 2 p.m. Eastern time. It will not be in the morning at 10 a.m. as it usually is. So I will post that also, but hopefully everybody listens to this. Our call will be at 2 Eastern tomorrow, Saturday the 14th. And I will see you then. We're going to be talking about a couple things we didn't get to in the last call. One was how alcohol affects this journey. And I think that might be an opportunity to talk about secondary addictions too. But we're also going to talk about how is Ed maybe holding you hostage, how you see Ed versus the ability he really has to control you and things like that. So it's going to be a very powerful informational call. And just really hope to see you all there. I'm actually hoping that since we're doing it a little later in the day, some of you guys that are on the West Coast and on different time zones, it might be easier for you to actually be there. It's so nice when we have a good group on there. But looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. But for now, do some soul searching. Do you want to be free? You can be, but you got to go for it. Have a great day.